The forest trembled as the small scout ship tore through Earth's atmosphere, leaving a fiery trail across the night sky. Commander Anya Vex of the Novarian Empire gritted her teeth as alarms blared throughout the cockpit. Her mission, a routine surveillance of the primitive blue planet, had turned catastrophic when her ship encountered an unexpected magnetic anomaly. "Computer, emergency landing protocols," she commanded, her violet eyes scanning the rapidly approaching tree line. Her silver-blue skin glistened with sweat as she fought the controls. The impact came faster than expected. Metal screamed against wood and earth, and darkness claimed her. Miles away, Dominic Hayes jolted awake in his remote cabin. The wilderness survival instructor had chosen this isolated location precisely because nothing ever happened here. Until now. The brilliant streak of light that had crashed into the mountains demanded investigation. Dawn found him hiking through dense forest, following the scorched path of destruction. He wasn't prepared for what awaited him, a craft unlike anything human-made, and inside, an unconscious woman who was clearly not of Earth. Her skin held a metallic blue sheen, intricate markings adorned her face, and when he cautiously checked her pulse, he found it beating in an odd triple rhythm against his fingers. "Hey, can you hear me?" Dominic whispered, keeping a safe distance. Anya's eyes snapped open, instantly alert despite the pain lancing through her body. In one fluid motion that defied her injuries, she had the human pinned against the damaged hull, a blade materializing from her wrist gauntlet. "State your designation and purpose," she hissed, her translator converting her Novarian language to English. "Dominic Hayes," he managed, struggling to breathe against her surprisingly strong grip. "I saw your crash. I came to help." Help. The concept seemed to confuse her. She released him slightly but kept her blade hovering near his throat. Novarian warriors do not accept help. It violates the code of solitude. Dominic raised his hand slowly. "Well, your ship looks pretty wrecked, and you're bleeding from at least 3 places I can see. Code or no code, you might need assistance." Anya's eyes narrowed as she processed his words. The pain in her side was becoming unbearable, and her diagnostic implant indicated internal injuries. The mission protocols were clear: avoid contact with indigenous species unless absolutely necessary. Yet here she was, stranded on a primitive planet with critical injuries. "You will not report my presence," she stated, making it clear this wasn't a request. "I won't," Dominic agreed, his hazel eyes meeting hers steadily. Something in his gaze, a sincerity she wasn't accustomed to, made her lower her weapon slightly. "But we need to move. That crash will bring others, less friendly than me." For 17 cycles, Anya had served the Empire without question. She had conquered planets and led armies. Never had she placed her fate in the hands of another, especially not a being from an undeveloped world. Yet survival necessitated adaptation. "I will permit temporary assistance," she conceded finally, her pride nearly choking her. Dominic nodded, hiding his amazement behind a calm expression. As he helped the alien warrior from her ship, supporting her weight against his shoulder, he couldn't help but wonder what he'd just gotten himself into. Behind them, the ship's emergency protocols activated, and the vessel began to dissolve, removing evidence of its extraterrestrial origin. Anya glanced back once, then forward to the human cabin visible through the trees. 2 worlds had just collided, and nothing would ever be the same. The first week of their uneasy alliance passed in a blur of tension and necessity. Dominic's cabin, once a sanctuary of solitude, now housed an alien warrior who regarded everything with suspicion, especially him. Anya spent most of her time attempting to repair her communications device, her slender blue fingers working with technology that would have astounded Earth's greatest scientists. When not focused on her work, she paced like a caged predator, her warrior's physique tense beneath the earth clothes Dominic had provided. "Your bandages need changing," Dominic said one evening, approaching with fresh supplies. Anya's violet eyes narrowed. "I have treated myself with nano salve from my emergency kit. Your primitive coverings are unnecessary." Despite her protests, Dominic noticed how she winced when she moved too quickly. The Novarian healing technology was impressive, but clearly designed for field treatment, not the extensive injuries she'd sustained. "Humor me," he said with a patient smile. "Consider it an exchange. You teach me about your stars, I help with your wounds." To his surprise, she relented. As he carefully removed the old bandages, he couldn't help but notice the intricate patterns that seemed to shift beneath her silver-blue skin, bioluminescent markings that pulsed with her triple heartbeat. "These markings," he murmured, "they're beautiful." Anya stiffened at his touch. "They are not decorative. They indicate rank and battle honors. Each is earned through combat or trial." "So you're pretty high-ranking then," Dominic observed, gently applying antiseptic to a particularly deep cut along her ribs. A flicker of pride crossed her face. "I command a battalion of the Empire's elite scouts. Our mission is to identify worlds suitable for—" She paused. "Conquest," Dominic suggested, his voice neutral. Their eyes met, and for the first time, Anya felt a strange discomfort with her Empire's purposes. "Integration," she corrected, though the word felt hollow. As days turned to nights, the rigid lines between them began to blur. Dominic taught her about Earth's ecosystems as they walked through the forest. She demonstrated Novarian combat techniques, marveling at how quickly the human learned. During a thunderstorm that rattled the cabin's windows, Anya revealed how the stars looked from her homeworld. The twin suns that bathed her planet in perpetual twilight, the nebula that streaked their skies with crimson and gold. "Your species values individual connection," she observed as lightning illuminated Dominic's face. "The Empire teaches that such attachments weaken a warrior." Dominic considered this. Maybe there's strength in connection, too. Different than what you're used to, but strength nonetheless. Before she could respond, a noise outside froze them both. Headlights swept across the cabin windows as multiple vehicles approached. "Government," Dominic whispered, peering through the blinds. Someone must have reported the crash after all. Anya moved with lightning speed, gathering her equipment. "I must leave. They cannot discover me." "There's a network of caves behind the property," Dominic said, already packing supplies. "I can lead you there." As they slipped out the back door into the rain-soaked night, Anya grabbed his arm. "Why would you risk yourself for me? Your government would reward you for turning me in." Dominic's gaze was steady, raindrops clinging to his eyelashes. "Because some things matter more than reward." Something unfamiliar fluttered in Anya's chest, an emotion her training had never prepared her for. As they disappeared into the forest, agents in dark suits swarmed the empty cabin, unaware that the human they sought had just made his choice. And it wasn't his own world. The cave system provided a perfect hiding place, dark and labyrinthine. Dominic's survival skills transformed the main chamber into a makeshift living space, while Anya worked tirelessly on her communication device. "It's ready," she announced on the 10th day, holding up the small metallic sphere that pulsed with internal light. "This will transmit my coordinates to the nearest Novarian vessel." Dominic looked up from the fire he was tending, his expression a mixture of relief and something darker, something like loss. "How long until they arrive?" 2 planetary rotations, perhaps 3. Anya's voice was flat, betraying none of the unexpected conflict she felt. Their eyes met across the fire, flames reflecting in both their gazes. The cave suddenly felt smaller, the air between them charged with unspoken words. "Will they take you back to your position?" Dominic asked, breaking the heavy silence. "Back to conquering worlds." The question hit Anya like a physical blow. She'd spent these days not only healing but watching Dominic, his gentleness with wild creatures, his respect for the forest that sustained him, the quiet strength that required no dominance to prove itself. "The Empire does not tolerate failure," she admitted, moving to sit beside him, "or contamination from lesser species." Dominic flinched at the term, and Anya immediately regretted her words. "That's what we were taught," she clarified. "But I—" She struggled, unused to questioning imperial doctrine. I no longer believe that to be true. The firelight danced across her alien features as Dominic dared to reach out, tracing one of the luminescent patterns on her wrist. Her skin was cooler than human temperature, smooth like polished stone, yet soft to the touch. "Is this allowed in your code?" he whispered. "No," she answered, yet didn't pull away. "Everything about this violates the code of solitude." The space between them disappeared as Dominic leaned forward, pressing his lips against hers in a gesture utterly foreign to her culture. Anya froze momentarily before instinct, not of a warrior but of something more primal, guided her response. Their kiss deepened, crossing boundaries of species and worlds, breaking codes and shattering preconceptions. Her alien physiology responded differently than a human woman's would, the bioluminescent patterns across her skin brightening with each racing beat of her triple heart. When they finally parted, breathless and changed, the communication device pulsed with an incoming signal. Reality crashed back upon them. "They're already in orbit," Anya said, reading the Novarian symbols. "A retrieval team is." She stopped, her expression darkening as she translated the full message. "What is it?" Dominic asked, sensing her sudden tension. "It's Commander Vexer. He wants more than rescue." Her violet eyes met his, filled with newfound fear not for herself, but for him. "They're ordering me to prepare you for collection. For study." Dominic understood immediately. "And the others who know about you." Standard protocol for undeveloped worlds. Complete evidence removal. The warrior facade crumbled as she grasped his hands. "Dominic, they will eliminate everyone who has knowledge of my presence." The communication device continued to pulse between them, a countdown to a choice that would determine both their fates. Outside the cave, the first lights of a Novarian scout ship illuminated the night sky, heralding the collision of their worlds in ways neither had anticipated. The Novarian ship hovered silently above the forest, its cloaking technology rendering it invisible to Earth's primitive detection systems. Inside the cave, Anya paced with military precision, her mind racing through combat scenarios, each ending in failure. "I could surrender myself," Dominic suggested, checking the hunting rifle he knew would be useless against Novarian armor. "Buy you time to escape." Anya stopped, her violet eyes flashing with sudden intensity. "No, there will be no surrender." She approached him, taking the weapon from his hands and setting it aside. "There is another way, but it requires breaking my oath to the Empire completely." The seriousness in her voice made Dominic silent as she activated a hidden panel in her wrist gauntlet. A holographic display of Novarian text appeared between them. "Every warrior carries emergency protocols," she explained, fingers dancing through the alien interface, "including self-destruction sequencing for our ships and equipment to prevent technology from falling into enemy hands." Understanding dawned on Dominic's face. "You're going to use the wreckage of your scout ship as a diversion." Anya nodded. "The retrieval team will investigate the explosion first. It should provide enough time for us to reach higher ground where their sensors will be less effective." The word "us" hung in the air between them, its significance not lost on either. "You're choosing exile," Dominic said softly. "For me." Anya's face reflected inner turmoil. Centuries of indoctrination, battling against the impossible truth she discovered on this primitive planet. That connection wasn't weakness, but a different kind of strength. "The code of solitude has governed my existence for all my years," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "But it never brought me what you have shown me in mere days." Dominic closed the distance between them, his hands framing her face with a tenderness that still surprised her. Their lips met as the remote detonation signal triggered, lighting up the night sky outside with a tremendous explosion. Their embrace deepened, the imminent danger heightening every sensation. The bioluminescent patterns on Anya's skin danced with increased brilliance as they lowered themselves to the blankets that formed their makeshift bed. Where their first intimate encounter had been tentative exploration, this was abandonment of restraint. Dominic discovered how the patterns on her skin responded to his touch, glowing brighter at certain junctures. Anya marveled at the warmth of human skin, so different from the cool-blooded Novarians. They moved together, alien and human, learning the rhythm of their differences, her triple heartbeat against his single one, his heat against her coolness. The cave walls reflected their merged shadows as they found a connection that transcended biology, physics, and the vast gulf of space that had separated their worlds. Afterward, as they lay entwined, the communication device beeped with angry Novarian commands. Anya switched it off with a decisive gesture. "Commander Vexer will not accept my desertion," she said, her head resting against Dominic's chest. "He will hunt us personally. It is a matter of honor now." Dominic stroked the luminescent patterns along her spine. "Then we face him together. My world has advantages they don't understand." As dawn approached, they gathered what supplies they could carry and emerged from the cave. The forest that had once been Dominic's peaceful home was now a battleground, with Novarian scouts already combing the area around the destroyed ship. In the early morning light, human and alien stood hand in hand on the precipice of a final confrontation, one that would either end their improbable bond or forge something unprecedented in the history of two worlds. The mountain ridge provided temporary shelter as Dominic and Anya watched Novarian soldiers in sleek exosuits methodically scanning the forest below. Commander Vexer's imposing figure was easily identifiable, his armor bearing more elaborate markings than the others. 6 elite warriors and Vexer himself, Anya whispered, her tactical mind calculating odds. He must consider this a significant breach of protocol to lead personally. Dominic studied the alien technology with keen eyes. Their suits give them advantages, but they're not familiar with Earth terrain. We are. Using Dominic's intimate knowledge of the wilderness, they led the Novarian squad on a strategic chase through the most treacherous parts of the mountain, unstable rock slides, hidden sinkholes, and dense undergrowth that confused their sensors. By nightfall, they had reduced their pursuers to 3, including Vexer, whose rage was evident even from a distance as he executed one of his own soldiers for failure. "He's becoming desperate," Anya observed as they huddled in the hollow trunk of a massive fallen tree. "Vexer has never failed a mission. His pride won't allow it." Dominic squeezed her hand, the blue luminescence of her skin providing just enough light to see her face. "Pride is a weakness we can exploit." Their plan was dangerous, a deliberate confrontation rather than continued evasion. As dawn broke, they positioned themselves in a narrow canyon where Novarian technology would be hampered by the natural iron deposits in the rock walls. When Vexer and his remaining soldiers appeared, Anya stepped into the open, her chin raised in the formal Novarian challenge stance. "Commander Vexer," she called out, her voice steady despite the treason of her actions. "I invoke the right of severance." The commander's helmet retracted, revealing a face similar to Anya's but masculine and scarred, with patterns that glowed an angry red. "Severance is for honorable warriors, not traitors who consort with primitives." "Then face me in combat," she countered, "unless you fear defeat by one who has learned from these primitives." The insult struck its mark. Novarian honor culture couldn't refuse a direct challenge. Vexer ordered his soldiers to stand down and entered the canyon alone, his power armor humming with lethal energy. What followed was a battle unlike any Earth had witnessed. 2 alien warriors moving with impossible speed and precision, their combat forms blending traditional Novarian techniques with the adaptability Anya had learned from Dominic. When Vexer gained the upper hand, pinning Anya against the canyon wall with his energy blade millimeters from her throat, Dominic emerged from his hiding place, not with a weapon, but with the Novarian communication device reprogrammed to broadcast across all Imperial frequencies. "Your entire fleet can hear us now," Dominic announced, his voice calm despite facing the alien commander. "They can witness how the mighty Vexer requires 2 soldiers to subdue 1 woman and an unarmed human." It was a perfect exploitation of Novarian pride. Vexer hesitated, aware of the thousands of warriors potentially witnessing his dishonorable advantage. That moment was all Anya needed. She executed a move Dominic had shown her, not from any combat form, but from dancing, a fluid twist that broke Vexor's hold and sent him stumbling. When the dust settled, Vexor lay disarmed at Anya's feet, her blade at his throat. The entire encounter recorded and transmitted to the Novarian fleet. "Kill me and be done with it," Vexor snarled. "It is the warrior's way." But Anya withdrew her blade, violet eyes meeting Dominic's across the canyon. "I have learned there are other ways, better ways." The standoff ended not with death but with an unprecedented negotiation. Faced with the reality of his defeat being witnessed empire-wide, Vexor grudgingly acknowledged Anya's right to severance, the rare practice of honorable separation from imperial service. More surprising was his assessment of Dominic after witnessing the human's courage and strategic thinking. "The human chose qualities we thought absent in your species," Vexor conceded reluctantly. Perhaps preliminary evaluation was incomplete. 3 days later, as they stood before the scout ship that would take them to the Novarian fleet, Anya explained what awaited. "Severance grants me independence but not acceptance," she said, the weight of her choice evident in her voice. "I will be exiled from Novarian space." Dominic looked from the ship to the forest that had been his home. "And I'd be the first human to see worlds beyond our solar system." "The first ambassador," Anya corrected, her fingers intertwining with his. "Vexor has authorized your status as representative of Earth. It's unprecedented, but your actions earned respect." As they boarded the ship, leaving behind the site of their impossible meeting, Dominic took one last look at the blue sky of his homeworld. What awaited them among the stars was uncertain. Prejudice and challenges undoubtedly, but also possibility. Anya's luminescent patterns glowed with newfound brightness as the ship lifted off, breaking through Earth's atmosphere. In the viewport, the planet receded, becoming one blue gem among countless stars. "The code of solitude taught that warriors stand alone," she murmured, her head resting against Dominic's shoulder. "But perhaps the future holds a new code, one where strength comes from standing together." As the ship engaged its faster-than-light drive, human and alien faced the vastness of space, not as commander and primitive, not as alien and earthling, but as two beings who had found in each other something worth crossing worlds to preserve. A new horizon awaited, one they would face together. The end.